I work at a beachside cafe in Sydney, and an American woman stormed up to the counter demanding to know why we were discriminating against her children. I asked what she meant. She pointed at our sign, "No shoes, no worries." She said in America, "That means no service. You're telling me my kids aren't welcome by." The way this level of cultural detail is exactly what I track full-time, so you don't have to. If you're the kind of viewer who likes seeing the real differences most people never notice, you'll want this showing up in your feed consistently. I explained it meant the opposite. She could come in barefoot. She stared at me. "That's unsanitary. I want to speak to your manager about your illegal signage." She wasn't done. She marched outside, took a photo of Australian families walking around barefoot, and said she was reporting this health violation to the American embassy. Her husband tried to calm her down. She snapped, "Don't you care about our children's safety? There's glass everywhere." I looked at the pristine beach. Not a single shard. She left a review. "Dangerous establishment encourages children to walk on disease-ridden surfaces." Manager laughed when confronted. My colleague had an American couple refuse to sit at our outdoor tables. They said, "We need to be inside where it's safe." Safe from what? The sun. We could get skin cancer in minutes. It was 9 a.m. Overcast. They demanded we install UV-blocking film on our windows. When I said the windows were already tinted, they asked for American-grade protection. They ate inside wearing sunglasses and hats. In the shade, these stories happen weekly. Here are the Australian habits that completely baffle American tourists. I bartend at a pub in Melbourne, and an American walked in, sat down, and waited. After 10 minutes, he started snapping his fingers at me. I was serving other customers. He yelled, "Excuse me, I've been here forever." I told him I'd be right there. He said, "In America, the customer comes first. You're supposed to greet me within 30 seconds. I explained we don't do table service at the bar. You come up and order. He looked offended. That's not hospitality. That's laziness. He finally came to the bar and ordered a beer. I handed it to him. He stood there holding his credit card. I waited. He said, "Well," I asked what he needed. "To close out my tab." I told him, "Tabs don't work that way. Here, pay as you go." He insisted I keep his card behind the bar like a real establishment. I refused. He accused me of trying to steal his information by making him use his card multiple times. He paid, then asked for a receipt after every single drink. 6 times? Each time he'd lecture me about proper American bar protocol, and this is the pattern most tourists react. But I break down why these reactions happen. If that kind of deeper analysis is your pace, you already know subscribing is how you stay ahead of the surface-level noise. When he left, he didn't tip. He came back 5 minutes later and slapped a $1 coin on the bar. I almost forgot. "You guys don't understand tipping culture here, so I'm teaching you." I tried to give it back. He pushed it toward me. "Take it." "You earned it with that attitude." My manager, watching from across the room, picked up the coin and bought a scratchy with it. Lost immediately. I manage a hotel in Brisbane. An American family checked in demanding to know our resort fee structure. Said we don't have resort fees. The dad laughed. "Right, so where's the hidden charge?" I showed him the total, exactly what he'd booked online. He didn't believe me. He demanded an itemized breakdown of every fee we were legally required to disclose. I explained Australian hotels don't split charges like American ones. He said, "That's a scam. You're hiding taxes." He called his credit card company from the lobby on speaker, explaining he was being defrauded by an Australian hotel. The representative asked what the issue was. "They won't tell me the real price." She asked if the charge matched his booking. He admitted it did. "Then what's the problem, sir?" He sputtered. "In America, there's always extra fees. This doesn't make sense." He hung up and told me I'd lost a customer for life. Stayed for nights. Complained daily that our pricing was suspiciously transparent. I'm a tour guide in Cairns, and an American couple booked a rainforest hike. They showed up wearing full-body neoprene suits. In 32-degree heat, I asked if they were okay. The wife said, "We researched Australian wildlife. Everything here kills you." I assured them the trail was safe. She pulled out printed articles about deadly spiders, snakes, and jellyfish. It says here that Australia has the most venomous creatures on Earth. I agreed, but none of them were on this rainforest trail. She didn't care. We're not taking chances. They refused to touch anything. A butterfly landed on the husband's arm, and he screamed. He swatted it away and checked for venom punctures. I explained butterflies don't sting. He said, in Australia they probably do. We walked the entire trail in the center of the path, arms crossed, touching nothing. When we passed a tree kangaroo, they jumped back. Is that one of those drop bears? I said drop bears weren't real. The wife snapped. That's exactly what you'd say to lure tourists into danger. At the end, they left a review. Guide repeatedly downplayed legitimate safety concerns. Tried to convince us to touch deadly wildlife. Would not recommend unless you have excellent health insurance. I work at a bottle shop in Perth, and an American came in looking panicked. He asked where our safety shelves were. I had no idea what he meant. He explained, the locked shelves for alcohol. To prevent theft, I gestured around the shop. Everything was on open shelves. His jaw dropped. You just let people walk around with it? I said yes, that's how shops work. He was stunned. In America, we lock up everything valuable. How do you not get robbed constantly? I told him theft wasn't a massive issue. He didn't buy it. He picked up a bottle of whiskey and walked around the store holding it. See? I could just walk out. I said yes, but he wouldn't. He seemed offended that I trusted him. He put the bottle back, bought a 6-pack of beer, and said, "You guys are way too trusting. This place would be bankrupt in America in a week." Left, then immediately came back. Wait, do I need to show ID? I said, only if you look under 20. He was clearly 50. He insisted on showing his passport. In America, they card everyone. It's the law. I repeated that we didn't need it. He forced it into my hands. Just look at it. I need to know this purchase is legal. I glanced at it and handed it back. He seemed satisfied. Finally, some proper protocol. I'm a train conductor in Sydney, and an American tourist asked me when the first class section was. I told him we don't have first class on city trains. He looked confused. Then where do the wealthy people sit? I said everyone sits together. He was baffled. That doesn't make sense. How do you separate passengers by economic class? I explained that you just sit wherever there's space. He shook his head. In America, we have systems for this. Order. He sat down next to a tradesman in high-vis gear and looked uncomfortable the entire ride. When a businessman in a suit sat across from him, he visibly relaxed. At the next stop, a teenager sat next to the businessman. The American leaned over to me. Is this safe? Mixing everyone like this? I asked what he meant. Different types of people. In America, we have separate areas for a reason. I told him Australian trains don't segregate passengers. He muttered, that explains a lot about this country. I work at a pharmacy in Adelaide, and an American came in demanding Sudafed. I asked for his ID to log the purchases. A restricted medication here. He refused. That's government tracking. In America, I can buy whatever I want without Big Brother watching. I explained it's Australian law because pseudoephedrine can be used to make illegal drugs. He was outraged. So you're treating me like a criminal? I have allergies. He started lecturing me about freedom and medical rights, repeated that I legally couldn't sell it without ID. He said he'd been to 50 countries and never had this problem. Australia is the only place that treats tourists like suspects. I offered alternative medications. He refused. I want what works. American medicine, not this socialist substitute garbage. He demanded to speak to my manager. She came out, heard his complaint, and backed me up. He was furious. You're both brainwashed by your nanny state? He stormed out, then came back 20 minutes later with his passport. Didn't say a word. Just slapped it on the counter. I processed the sale. He grabbed the box and left. No thank you. No acknowledgement. He came back the next day for more. Still angry, but compliant. Working in Australian tourism, You realize American confidence doesn't pause at customs. They arrive expecting their systems to be universal and are genuinely shocked when ours work differently, sometimes better, sometimes just different, but always somehow wrong in their eyes. What's fascinating is how often they come back the next day. Still frustrated but adapting, proving that beneath the bluster, they're just trying to make sense of a country that operates on completely different logic, and maybe secretly enjoying the chaos.